It was a bright morning when Professor John walked into his classroom. Professor John is known for his unconventional approach to teaching life's most important truths. That day, the students noticed he wasn't carrying books or papers. Instead, in his hands was a large empty glass jar. Under his arm, he had a small bag. Curious whispers spread across the room. What's he doing with that jar? Maybe it's another one of his strange experiments. Without a word, John placed the jar on the table. Then, from the bag, he pulled out several large stones, each about the size of a fist. One by one, he gently dropped them into the jar. Soon the jar was filled to the top with stones. "Tell me, my students," John asked, raising his eyes, "is the jar full?" The class looked at the jar carefully. The stones touched the rim, leaving no visible space. "Yes, sir, it's full," they answered in unison. John smiled, but instead of replying, he reached under the desk and pulled out a small box of pebbles. Without warning, he poured them into the jar. The students watched as the smaller pebbles rolled down and nestled into the empty spaces between the big stones. "Now," John asked again, "is the jar full?" This time, the students hesitated. A few said yes, but others muttered, "Maybe not." The professor nodded knowingly. He then lifted a pouch filled with sand. He slowly poured it into the jar. The sand slid through the cracks, filling every gap the stones and pebbles had left behind. The students laughed in surprise. "Now it must be full," one of them said. But John wasn't done. He reached for a jug of water, and to everyone's amazement, he poured it in. The water seeped through the sand, soaking the jar until not a single drop could enter. The class fell silent. John looked at them, his voice calm but firm. "This jar, my dear students, is like your life. The big stones represent the things that truly matter: your health, your family, your loved ones, your dreams and passions. The pebbles are the smaller but still important things, such as your job, your studies, your house. The sand is everything else, the little distractions, the daily worries, and the water represents the endless tiny activities you do without thinking, scrolling, gossiping, wasting time." He paused and tapped the jar gently. "If you fill your jar with sand and water first, there will be no room for the big stones. If you waste all your time on unimportant things, you will never have space for what really matters in life. But if you place the big stones first, then the pebbles, then the sand, you'll see that there's still space for everything else." The room was silent. Finally, John added with a warm smile, "Life will always give you sand and water, but it is up to you to decide whether the big stones, your health, your loved ones, your dreams are placed first. If you don't protect them, no one else will." Remember this: whenever life felt overwhelming, focus on what truly matters first, and the rest will always find its place. If this story touched your heart, remember to like this video and subscribe for more inspiring tales.